This one settlement can change the entire real estate industry forever. Last Friday, March 15, 2024, the NAR, National Association of Realtors, settled for $418 million. This lawsuit claimed that realtors steered buyers to pay a higher price point because sellers are paying both the seller's agent's commissions and buyer's agent commission. All right, guys, so I've been reading all the news in the past few days, and the New York Times probably had the most outrageous takeaways. They compared 6% commissions to government taxes. Like, do you know where the $30 trillion of US debt is going to? I don't think anyone in the country could account for any of that money. They also said home prices will drop. Like, what is this journalist talking about? 6% commission will cease to be the norm. You can always negotiate the commission. Steering will be less common. Has this journalist negotiated any real estate deal before? Like, buyers and sellers agents think they're at war with each other because they're trying to get the best deal for their client. 1 million real estate agents could leave the profession. There's only 1.6 million real estate agents, so you're saying majority of everyone, that's it, they're done? This is what I think about the New York Times. Now let's go on to NBC News. It could dramatically drive down home buyers' costs and push some real estate brokers out of the business. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. Let's go on to CNN now. Settlement could lead to lower home buying costs. They already tried this in Washington State. Washington State, the sellers decided that 92% of them want to pay a buyer's incentive to pay the buyer's agent. This is just an example of all of the negative headlines surrounding the industry. And I just want to say, like, fear for these news companies drive traffic to their websites. So that's why you're seeing these headlines. What is not changing? Sellers may still provide a buyer's incentive so they could pay their buyer's agent. Agents and brokers must remain NAR members to access NAR controlled MLSs in most states. The clear cooperation rule isn't changing. Compensation has always been negotiable. Buyers still benefit from professional representation from a buyer's agent. The listing agreement is staying the same. Here's what's changing. Sellers, if you want to offer a buyer's incentive so they could pay the buyer's agent, you can no longer list that on MLS. On MLS, again, you cannot list any buy-side compensation. So you can't list a commission or buyer's agent incentive. And for you buyers, here's another thing that's changing. The MLS is now requiring that all buyer's agents must have an agreement with the buyer. So you must sign a buyer agent's agreement now before looking at property. Guys, so here's an interesting stat I received today. So all Manhattan listings that were signed in the month of March, 39% of sellers decided to pay at least 2.5% to buyer's agents. 41% decided to pay at least 3% to buyer's agents. And 5% decided to pay at least 4% to buyer's agents. Now you have to ask yourself why you think that is. Comment below. What does this mean for New York City now? In New York City, we don't really use the MLS unless you're in like eastern parts of Brooklyn, say like East New York or Southern Brooklyn, or eastern parts of Queens that share MLS with Long Island, and certain parts of the Bronx that share MLS with Westchester. But in Manhattan, prime parts of Brooklyn, we don't use the MLS. Or even in Western Queens, like Long Island City, Astoria, we don't use the MLS. What does this mean as a buyer? I don't believe Zillow, which they own StreetEasy. I don't believe they're gonna be able to list the buyer's agent's incentive. However, on Compass, we will be allowed to do so. So if I'm a buyer, I would say search on Compass because the listings will be very transparent on the Compass website. As an agent, you have to ask yourself, what kind of service do you want to provide? Do you want to provide Holiday Inn type of service? Or do you want to provide Four Season type of service? And for buyers, it takes 62 steps to get from the day you start searching to the closing table. So you also have to ask yourself, what kind of service do you want? Are you too busy to search on your own? Or do you need the help of an agent? And when you do look for an agent, you have to ask yourself what type of service you want from them. The home buying or home selling experience can be a very emotional one. You just have to ask yourself, again, what type of representation you're looking for. Do you want any representation? So with that said, comment below with any questions. Let me know if you have any questions about what's going on. We'd love to share our process with you. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll be here every Thursday dropping a video.